10 signs you may have a fearful-avoidant attachment style. You chase closeness, even after promising yourself you'd stay guarded this time. What if the reason your relationships feel confusing isn't bad luck, but a hidden attachment pattern? In this video, I'll share 10 research-backed signs of a fearful-avoidant attachment style that can finally help you understand your push-pull patterns. Fearful-avoidant attachment, also called disorganized attachment, is a pattern where you crave love and connection, but also fear it at the exact same time. In adults, that often shows up as confusing, contradictory behavior in relationships. The problem is, most people think they're just too much, too distant, or bad at love, when really they may be acting out an old survival strategy. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot 10 signs of this pattern in your own life and what to do next. Let's dive in. The first sign is that you crave deep connection. You don't just want casual interaction, you want something real. You want to feel chosen, understood, and emotionally safe. You may fantasize about deep love, think a lot about your ideal relationship, or feel drawn to emotional closeness more than you admit. But the second sign is that the moment someone actually gets close, you start pulling away. One day you're texting constantly, opening up and imagining a future. The next day, you feel trapped, irritated, overwhelmed, or numb. It's like your heart says, "Come closer," but your nervous system says, "Run." This is one of the clearest signs of a fearful-avoidant pattern. You want intimacy, but when it becomes real, it starts to feel dangerous. Now, you might be thinking, why would your brain do that? Because somewhere along the way, connection may have become linked with pain, fear, unpredictability, or emotional confusion. So now, even when something good shows up, part of you still braces for impact. The third sign is that you constantly scan for rejection. A slower reply, a shorter text, a different tone, a canceled plan, and suddenly your mind goes into overdrive. You start wondering if they've lost interest, if you said something wrong, or if the whole relationship is about to fall apart. Even tiny shifts can feel huge. And that leads to the fourth sign. You assume people will leave, reject you, or stop caring, even when there's little proof. You may not say it out loud, but deep down you expect disappointment. So instead of waiting to get hurt, you start emotionally preparing for it early. You become guarded, distant, cold, or hyper-alert, not because you don't care, but because you care so much that losing the connection feels unbearable. There's a scientific reason for this, and it's fascinating. When you've learned to associate closeness with uncertainty, your brain starts treating emotional signals like possible threats. So before your logical mind can step in, your body is already reacting. Your chest tightens, your thoughts speed up, your emotions get louder. And suddenly, you're responding to fear, not reality. The fifth sign is emotional shutdown. This one is huge because many fearful-avoidant people don't look dramatic or needy on the outside. They look detached, calm, unbothered. But inside, a lot is happening. When conversations get too vulnerable, when conflict gets too intense, or when someone asks how you really feel, your mind can go blank. You say, "I don't know," not because you're hiding something, but because you genuinely lose access to what you're feeling in the moment. You may also feel physically heavy, sleepy, foggy, or suddenly desperate to leave the conversation. It's like your emotional system flips a switch and cuts the power. This isn't random, it's a protection strategy. When your system gets overloaded, it shuts down to keep you safe. The sixth sign is that you have a hard time trusting support. Even when someone is kind, patient, and clearly trying to be there for you, part of you stays braced. You may wonder what they really want, when they'll change, or whether their care is actually safe to rely on. You might say you want support, but when it arrives, you minimize it, doubt it, or push it away. This creates a painful cycle. You want someone to show up for you, but when they do, it doesn't fully land. Instead of feeling relieved, you feel exposed. Instead of leaning in, you hold back. And over time, that can make relationships feel exhausting, even when the other person is trying. But wait, there's more to this. Some of the strongest signs don't show up in obvious emotional moments. They show up in the identity you build around being independent. The seventh sign is extreme self-reliance. You tell yourself you don't need anyone. You handle everything alone. You don't ask for much. You don't want to be a burden. On the surface, that can look strong. And to be fair, you probably are strong. But sometimes that strength becomes armor. Instead of healthy independence, it becomes emotional isolation. You may pride yourself on not needing help, but the truth is, part of that may come from not trusting that help will be safe, consistent, or freely given. So you become the person who always says, "I'm fine," even when you're clearly not fine. You become the person who disappears when things get hard, then quietly wishes someone would come after you. And that brings us to the eighth sign. Underneath that strong independence, you often feel lonely, unseen, or disappointed. You push people away, then ache when they stay away. You tell yourself it's better not to need anyone, but at the same time you deeply want to be known. This inner contradiction can be exhausting. You want closeness, but not the vulnerability that comes with it. You want support, but not the risk of depending on someone. Think of it like building a wall for protection, then feeling sad that no one can reach you behind it. That's what fearful-avoidant attachment often feels like. You're not cold, you're not heartless, you're guarded, and there's a difference. Now let's talk about the signs that show up in your attraction patterns, because this is where things get really revealing. The ninth sign is that you feel more drawn to emotionally unavailable, inconsistent, or complicated people than to stable ones. You may say you want peace, but when peace actually shows up, it can feel boring, unfamiliar, or even suspicious. Meanwhile, someone who is distant, hard to read, or hot and cold can feel magnetic. Why? Because your brain tends to confuse familiar with safe. If chaos, unpredictability, or emotional inconsistency shaped your early experience of connection, then stable love may not immediately feel natural. It may feel flat. But unstable love feels intense, and intensity is easy to mistake for chemistry. This is why so many people with fearful-avoidant attachment end up repeating the same story with different faces. Different person, same emotional roller coaster. Different relationship, same confusion. You keep hoping this time will be different, but your nervous system keeps getting pulled toward what feels emotionally familiar. And the 10th sign is self-sabotaging healthy connection. This is one of the hardest to admit, but it's incredibly common. When someone genuinely likes you, treats you well, and shows up consistently, you may start testing them, picking fights, withdrawing, losing interest, or creating distance right after moments of closeness. You may not even realize you're doing it. Part of you wants the relationship, but another part is terrified of what it means to trust it. So you start looking for flaws. You focus on tiny imperfections. You question whether you really like them. You tell yourself maybe they're too nice, too available, too predictable. But often, what you're actually reacting to is the discomfort of safety. Now, you might be thinking, does this mean you're broken? Not at all. It means your nervous system learned to protect you in a confusing emotional environment, and those patterns are still trying to do their job. The problem is, the strategies that once helped you survive may now be blocking the very love, peace, and connection you want most. That's why awareness matters so much. The moment you can name the pattern, you start creating distance between you and the automatic reaction. Instead of saying, "This is just who I am," you can start saying, "This is a pattern I learned," and patterns can change. So let's quickly review what we covered today. Number 1, you crave deep closeness. Number 2, you pull away when it starts feeling real. Number 3, you overread small signs of rejection. Number 4, you expect people to leave. Number 5, you shut down when emotions get intense. Number 6, you struggle to trust support. Number 7, you rely too heavily on independence. Number 8, you feel lonely underneath the self-protection. Number 9, you're drawn to emotionally unavailable or inconsistent people. And number 10, you sabotage healthy connection when it finally appears. If several of these signs felt uncomfortably familiar, that doesn't mean you're doomed in love. It means you're becoming aware of the hidden pattern shaping your relationships, and awareness is where healing begins. Your attachment style is not your identity. It's not a life sentence. It's a pattern your mind and body learned for protection, and with enough honesty, safety, and repetition, it can absolutely change. You have everything you need to start moving towards secure attachment. Not overnight, and not perfectly, but step by step. The only difference between where you are now and where you want to be is the willingness to notice your pattern and respond differently, one moment at a time. Don't wait until another good relationship slips through your fingers because an old fear took over. Start with one simple step today. Just notice your pattern without judging it. That alone is powerful. And I promise you, a few months from now, you'll be glad you started paying attention now. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more self-improvement videos like this. Drop a comment telling me which sign hit you the hardest, or which one you've noticed in your own relationships. And if you want to learn how to actually heal insecure attachment and move toward secure attachment, check out the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.